Welcome to The Preferred List, a podcast about the people behind the best wedding days. I'm James, a wedding filmmaker, and I've spent years in the industry working alongside incredible vendors, and this show is all about real conversations with the ones who make it happen. Whether you're a vendor or a couple, you'll get honest insight, good stories, and maybe a little inspiration along the way. Let's meet today's wedding vendor. Hey, Miranda, how's it going?
Hi, James. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
What's super exciting is we are here at your venue, the Barn at Silverstone. And the Barn at Silverstone was featured on World's Greatest as the world's greatest venue, which is so cool.
Thank you.
I've told that to a couple people while we've been filming here, and they are all like, whoa, what, really? Here, the breathtaking historic stonework meets elegant modern design with an inclusive approach that lets couples enjoy a truly low-stress planning experience. We shot a wedding here a couple weeks ago. It's not going to be a couple weeks ago now, but in filming this right now, it was a couple weeks ago. And I met you within like probably 5 minutes of being here, and I was like, this is a cool place with a cool owner.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about how you got into the industry. You've done so many weddings. I can't wait to hear more about that. But tell me how everything kind of got started for you guys here at the Barn at Silverstone. Just give us a little bit of insight on who you are too.
Yeah, so my husband and I both went to college at IUP, and our degree was in hospitality management. So we came home to our family estate, and we were looking to get married. So we looked around. We didn't like what we found. Our goal was to find a place that was beautiful but elegant. A lot of the barns in this area are very rustic and not inclusive. A lot of DIY, a lot of stuff you have to do on the day yourself. So we decided we had a barn. We needed to do something with it anyway. So we decided to restore it the way we wanted to restore it and how we envisioned our wedding. And that's what we did.
Here we are.
Yep, and here we are.
How many years have you guys been in business?
This is 10 years.
10 years?
Yep.
Crazy. That's so cool. And it's funny, rustic barns are okay. Mm-hmm. But there's a place for some not rustic barns.
Yep. Yeah, we are a destination location, so a lot of our couples are like New York, New Jersey.
Okay. Do you find that when couples are reaching out, are they expecting it to be like just a normal kind of more generic barn, or they know like what they're kind of getting themselves into?
Perhaps not when they first inquire, but usually by the time we've email back and forth. I mean, I send all of our information because I want to make sure that this is what they're looking for. Some people just want a DIY space, and not that you couldn't do that here, but it's really not designed necessarily for that. So
yeah. So you've been in business for 10 years. What did it look like when everything kind of first started? You had your wedding here and you're like, wait a minute, this could be like a thing.
It was almost the opposite. So
okay.
We wanted a place to get married, so we were going to restore it, but we also were looking to expand our business. We have bed and breakfast as well. So the upstairs, there's rooms here, but we now pretty much focus on the weddings. So we decided to restore it, already knowing that we were going to open it as a wedding venue, but kind of did it the way we would have wanted it for our wedding.
Gotcha. That's so cool. What did those first couple of years look like as you guys were kind of getting things off the ground, like working out the kinks?
Yes, it's definitely a roller coaster. As soon as you start, you learn pretty quickly. And the thing is that I'm at every single event. So, even just 5 weddings in and you're like, oh my goodness. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So a lot of different changes that we've had throughout the years. And every year we've tried to enhance our property or the buildings or just like the process in general. And we've come to a spot where we're meaning to be as inclusive as we can be while still letting the couple have their own vision and just making it as seamless as possible for the planning process.
Because I do feel like there are some venues that like they kind of pigeonhole you into like, you got to work with these people and it has to kind of be this way. Mm-hmm. It sounds like what you're saying is like, there's a little bit more wiggle room for couples.
Yeah, and like they can bring their own vendors and all of that. So of course we have recommendations, just ones that we know will do a good job, but they're welcome to bring whomever they'd like. The only restriction we have is that we have our in-house catering, so that we pretty much take care of everything, and that makes it so much smoother. You're not having a caterer that's learning for the first time at the facility.
Where's the stuff at? Where do I put my stuff? Yeah.
Oh, they didn't provide the linens. We didn't know that. Or the bartending isn't included. Or just like there's so many nuances between catering and having them on site. It just makes everything run so much smoother.
What are some of the like big standout things that you guys learned in those first couple of years as a new venue in town?
Well, even when we opened, asking vendors what they think would be best for our facility. So right as we were restoring it, like outlets all over the place so you can plug in,
Yeah.
and lots of natural light and lighter ceilings for greater photos. So taking a lot of advice from vendors in general before we physically opened, and then just evolving every time there was a wedding and there was something that didn't go quite right. We're like, okay,
You write that
let's
down.
uh, let's adjust.
Yeah.
And catering honestly was one of the big ones where
Oh,
it
really?
was a huge headache every time a new caterer, the couple's upset with the catering, and it's like I had nothing to do with that. We
Yeah.
had our first and almost only bad review, which was the food was cold and the service was terrible. And I'm like, I had nothing to do with that. And now I stand wholeheartedly behind our caterer.
Yeah.
So I have no
I'd
concerns
have to
regarding that.
imagine that it's kind of difficult because even though you're just the venue
Mhm.
owner, the running the day from the venue's perspective, you have all these other vendors that kind of are popping in,
Mhm.
and in some ways, like all these other vendors are reflecting the barn at Silverstone.
Yes.
Like how do you
Yes.
manage how do you manage all of
Well, and
that?
that's part of why I have a recommended vendor list. And again, they don't have to go off of it, but then I at least know that the vendors that I'm recommending, it's going to be a smooth experience and they know the facility. They can give guidance just like I can give guidance,
Right.
and it just makes things run smoother.
Yeah. I'd have to imagine. I mean, the preferred list kind of is off the back of that idea.
Yeah, imagine.
Imagine there's a preferred list. Um, and I'm assuming you've kind of developed that list over the
Oh,
years.
absolutely. And it evolves every year. So
Yeah.
it's always changing. I mean, if something happens or somebody goes out of business or, there's so many different things, or I find somebody that's absolutely amazing and deserves to be on that list. Nobody pays me to be on that list. Honestly, kindness and communication and working as a team. And that's really all I need to know that like you're worth recommending.
Yeah.
And then it makes the day go so much smoother.
Yeah. And especially if they know the space. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm hearing that from the catering side of things. It's like they
Yes.
know the space, they
Yes,
know what to do.
exactly.
Then there's not this like, when does food
Yeah.
come out? Where does it go? How does it
Yeah.
stay warm?
Well, and even still, not everybody, I mean, even if we had multiple caterers, you don't know that the caterer isn't connected to me. The couple, like the guests don't know that. So everybody, it reflects all on me. And
Yeah.
at least having consistent quality and it's an award-winning caterer, just again, it just makes everything great.
Yeah. No, that I can see how that would like you're kind of living and dying off of this one
Yes.
vendor doing the best job that they
Yeah.
can.
Yep.
Um, is there like a moment in those first couple years or even like the year before where you guys were like getting everything ready where you were like, we want to do this? We feel like this is the right path for us moving forward. Like, did you always know that you were going to be like a business owner?
I pretty much always knew I would do some sort of business. My parents are entrepreneurs. They work together. And I always wanted to work with my husband doing something. And so that was the path that we were leading. And we were getting married and we needed a spot anyway. So it kind of just fell into place. And again, hospitality being our degree, we did some wedding planning in college, some restaurant management, knew that I didn't necessarily want to do the food end of it. I could, don't want to. And I love design. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it kind of falls into place with weddings.
Yeah. Walk me through the path of like you have the idea,
Hmm.
you start the renovation
Yeah,
process, and like now you are here having done
probably almost 800 weddings.
almost 800. Like that just is mind-boggling. And like you said, you're at all of them.
Hmm.
Like what's that journey been like? I know you've learned a bunch.
Yeah, I mean it's a roller coaster, but it's like it gets easier and easier and easier as you go through. It was such a fun planning process as we started. I mean, it was our barn, it's our property, and seeing how the spaces could evolve because I mean we completely gutted them and just restored them, and we did it pretty quickly because I was getting married. We did it in about 3.5 months.
Wow.
So we were on a mission to get it done, and we kind of created our own procedures, how we would want to create them. In fact, way back, we were actually going to hand it off to somebody to manage. And I just kept creating the procedures and making things. And I was like, you know what? I can absolutely do this.
Yeah.
I love this space. I love this property. And I would want to be like very heavily involved in it. And so my husband and I took the reins and did everything
You're
for it.
probably like so glad now.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Oh,
can't like
yeah.
go
Yeah.
back and like change anything, but you're
Absolutely.
like, that was
Absolutely.
probably the best
It
move
was.
now.
It
Yeah.
was.
No, that's so cool. So you knew you're going to be a business owner. I'm assuming you weren't thinking maybe a wedding venue
It
owner.
wasn't necessarily we didn't have anything particular in
Yeah,
mind, but
but it totally fits with the hospitality side of
absolutely.
things. Um, has it been fun seeing the business grow and like change and evolve and like has your roles kind of shifted as you guys
A
have?
little bit, a little bit. I mean, I used to be even more hands-on than I am now, which is hard to imagine.
You
But
were everywhere when we were here.
I mean, I would come in at 7:30 in the morning, and I might not leave till 3 a.m. And do it all over again. And it was getting pretty difficult because it was my husband and I, our mentality is, work really hard at the beginning so that it'll pay off in the future. So we pretty much were the staff. We set
Yeah.
up everything, we cleaned everything, we did almost everything that you could do at the mowed the property. I mean, we currently have 37 acres. We didn't start with that many, but it was a lot to maintain, and doing the landscaping and all of that ourselves amongst tours and contracts and final walkthroughs and everything else. So it's slowly evolved where my husband is now the behind the scenes doing the cleaning with somebody to assist, and the setup of the tables and chairs and linens, and I am more of the face and the tours and the contracts and the final walkthroughs and emails and
Yeah.
all of that stuff. So he usually, you don't see him unless there's an issue, and then you see me the whole day.
Yeah. So if you see him, you
Yeah.
know something's going real bad.
Yeah. We don't need them to know
Like
that, but
calling the big
yes.
guns. What does it take to run? I mean, maybe even more specifically, run a successful
Yeah.
wedding venue where you're turning a profit and
Yeah.
having happy clients and customers and people are enjoying the space that you have here.
Takes a lot of work, a lot of time, dedication, and ever evolving. I mean, even general weddings are always changing, and you got to stay with the times so that you're not outdated, and got to keep up with the other local venues. I mean, everybody's adding things, and you want to make sure that you're on top and that you have everything and more than what everybody else has. But a lot of long hours and a lot of late nights. In fact, considering I have two children, a lot of my emails are going through at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Just like getting my emails done when I can.
I love that. Is there a significance to the name of the venue?
So the building that we're currently sitting in is a limestone mansion, and it was my parents purchased it for their silver anniversary, their 25th wedding anniversary. So it had the limestone, so they called it Silverstone. So it was Silverstone Inn and Suites, and then we added a barn to it, and so we said the barn at Silverstone.
That's so cool.
Hmm.
I feel like it's really cool to hear like such a sentimental story behind the name
Hmm.
and not just like, oh, we just
Yeah,
liked
just a random.
silver stones.
Yeah, right.
No, that's so cool. When you have couples inquiring, like what's that process look like for them? Seeing the space, envisioning like what their day could look like if they booked
Hmm.
the Barn at Silverstone as their wedding venue.
Yeah, so when they inquire, all my information goes out to them. I figure out what date, and hopefully, if I have what they're looking for, because I might not be within budget, I might not have the date that they're looking for. So I just like to make sure that we are a good fit for what they're looking for. Schedule a tour, it'll be with me. And then I show them around and kind of talk through the space as if it was a wedding and how it can all work. And then I sit down and go through all of our pricing, and also even a vendor list I provide to them, an abbreviated one, but just all the standard like DJ, photo, all
Yeah.
of that, just to give them some
I'm
guidance.
assuming there's like hundreds of different ways that couples could use the space
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and like having ceremonies here, maybe ceremonies are
Mm-hmm.
other location.
Yep.
Like what's that look like when they're kind of you're helping them kind of figure out like how do you use the space to fit like the day that they're trying to put together?
Yeah, so I kind of figure out and talk with them about what they're looking for. Some people like yard games, some people do not. Some people want cigar bars. It just depends on what their preferences are. But I kind of talk about what different things can happen in each of the spaces as we go through them. And then when we sit down, I have a photo book of a whole bunch of really fun things that they can do. So anything from the ceremony locations and what it looks like for a real wedding to be set up there, different types of florals, simple florals, extravagant. And then I have, for instance, Jubilee Entertainment. They have a ton of beautiful installations they can do in the venue. One of my favorite DJs, DJ Andy M, has bubbles and sparks and clouds and the works. So I pretty much show them real weddings, real photos,
Yeah, I
so that
love
they
that.
can see that and be like, oh, I like that. Oh, no, I don't like that. And then I can say, okay, this is how it works. This is kind of maybe the ballpark for pricing that you might be looking at, just so that they can see if it's a good fit for them.
I feel like it's so hard for couples now in this like digital era to envision what they're thinking they want, actually make it make sense, and
Mhm.
then try to figure out how it fits with the venue that they
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of my couples trust me. So I usually ask them, and we have a portal that they'll share with me. And in that, they can upload inspiration. So if they're like, this is the vibe I'm going for, I can spell out for them, okay, reach out to this vendor, ask for this. Reach out to this vendor, ask for
Yeah,
this.
I love that.
And that can kind of bring your vision to life of kind of like what you're looking for that fits within our venue.
And it sounds like you have a lot of actual weddings that you can use as
Exactly.
examples.
I pull
So
from
you're
almost all of them.
you're
Anyone that gives me
yeah.
photos, at least.
You're like, "Send all the photos, I will use
Please.
them all." So clearly I don't even know how many venues there are in Lancaster,
Me either, but
Pennsylvania.
there is a ton.
There's a ton. You're one of many, but there's something different about being here, working with you. What's the mindset on the approach?
Mhm.
What's the mindset on like serving your couples? Basically, like what's different
Yeah.
about the barn at
Well,
Silverstone?
we're family owned, and I know that there's are several in this area, but we're family owned, and I am the main point of contact. They're not getting passed around from person to person. What they tell me, I'm writing down, and it's not like I've forgotten. Versus a lot of places, they hire people and they might quit, or they might, go to a different position, and it's like all those details you gave might not translate to the next
Yeah.
person, and now you're getting frustrated. So I am that point of contact, and because I have so much experience, and they can see that usually. They feel more at ease. My goal is to make sure that I try to take the stress away. So again, I have a portal that they'll have access to, and I consider it to be like a virtual wedding planner. It has an entire checklist of exactly how to plan a wedding, what to ask your vendors,
Yeah.
place you can import photos, the layout, timeline, just pretty much everything all in one hub for them. And again, I also have great vendors that I can recommend that take away some of that stress. So you met Taylor from Treasured Events.
Yeah.
She can provide gorgeous stuff.
Fantastic.
I
Yeah.
love Taylor.
Such a great
Um,
person.
she is. And, she can make our venue gorgeous, but also provide all the necessities for our couples. Less is more here. And she can provide the necessities that are needed. Our couples come with like a guest book, and that is it. Everything else is taken care of for them. So, trying to remove the stress, create an easy planning process for them through the portal and just through communicating, I think that kind of sets us apart from everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into like making the day actually happen.
Hmm.
And it seems like your systems are giving space to be like, we'll help you find all the people,
Hmm.
or you can find all the
Exactly.
people.
Exactly.
We'll help you get everything kind of situated, or you can do some of that yourself. But
Exactly.
there's like this underlying current of like, we want you to enjoy your day,
Hmm.
not feel the stress. Like, we'll take
Yep.
all that and
Yep.
just bottle it up for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, I love that. Um, has your business sort of like evolved over the years? Or like what's that kind of been like? I mean, I know, obviously things have
Yeah.
changed over the
Yeah.
years, but like what's that kind of looked like from like when you guys first started to like the weddings that you guys are putting on now?
Oh, I mean, it is a total difference. The more experience you have, like the easier and quicker it'll evolve. So yes, from the first 2 years we were open till now, night and day difference in terms of like the quality. Again, I think after the first few years, really trying to hone in on the experience of the couples and trying to eliminate a lot of the questions that they might have and answering them ahead of time, and just trying to eliminate all of those issues before they arise on the wedding day. Now that I know what those potential issues could be,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what has evolved amongst every year, always trying to enhance the property, adding a backup generator, peace of mind, so couples don't have to worry if the power goes out. Because if the power goes out at a venue that doesn't have a backup generator, you cannot function. You can't flush toilets. That is a hazard. Like, you can't have the music going. Yeah, you can maybe bring in a generator for the DJ.
Yeah.
What about the kitchen and the food? Like, there's so much that just physically can't happen if you don't have power. So we have the generator. We've added an indoor backup ceremony location completely separate from any other space. So we're not flipping a cocktail hour or a reception. So the couple and photographers or video can get the space completely pristine and set up without having to worry about flipping it. So a lot of places it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I guess you're in the reception hall now. And people have already seen it. And now we're trying to
I
flip it, and
know.
it's tight, and it's like, I want my couples, they've worked so hard to see their vision come to life. I want them to come into that room and have a chance to take it all in before the guests get in there
I
and make a
know.
little mess of things.
It's so tough too because it's like if there's not space, then there's not space. But it
Hmm.
sounds like you've thought through. I mean, you've done a lot of weddings, so
Hmm.
it's probably come up at some
Oh,
point
yeah.
where it's rained, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, let's put this in the
Yeah.
reception spot.
Yeah.
But now you're like, oh, actually, we have this
Yeah.
other space where you can completely have a standalone
Yeah.
ceremony and not worry about the elements if they don't want to be outside.
Exactly. Well, that's my wedding. So at my wedding, we did not have the backup ceremony space. We got married at the rehearsal before our wedding. It rained. And so we had to rehearse inside. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if I have it rain on my wedding day, I'm going to be heartbroken. It didn't. It was gorgeous. My wedding was perfect.
Love it.
And I'm like, I never want anybody to feel that way. I don't want anybody to ever panic about what are we going to do? Oh, we've got to flip the space. People are going to see the reception hall. I'm not going to see it completely set up. So literally, as soon as we got married, I'm like, first agenda, add a backup ceremony location, completely separate.
Yeah.
We're not flipping anything. We don't have to worry about it. Also, a lot of the times it's one is above the other, similar to ours where stables and reception are one above the other. You can hear things happening when you're flipping spaces, and it's not nice
Yeah.
to hear that.
Yeah, because you do have the space. Walk me through like what kind of spaces you do have
Mhm.
for the listener as they're kind of imagining
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
I'll throw some clips maybe at the front of this one to kind of see what it looks like. But like,
Yeah.
walk me through like the different spaces that you have and how you've seen that those spaces are adding value for your couples
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So specifically for the events for ceremony, we have our courtyard as the outdoor option, which is solid surfaces. It's not like heels or grandparents are going to have any issues. Beautiful fountain with the weeping willows in the backdrop. And then we have it flows into the stables, which is where the cocktail hour is. And cocktail hour is always indoor and outdoor. So guests are able to flow both spaces. We have a nice pavilion and fire pit in the courtyard as well. We have, again, a whole nother building, which is our indoor ceremony space, which could either be their plan A or plan B. If it is their plan B, it's morning of that we look at the weather together, figure out whether it's just temperature or the rain that they're concerned with, and then make that call together. And then the upper level of the main barn, which is the stables on the lower level for the cocktail hour, the upstairs has the reception, which is grand, tons of windows, overlooks the courtyard. So if people want to do things in the evening, the fire pit, yard games, cigar bars, whatever it might be, they have that opportunity to still go outside and have kind of like an indoor outdoor vibe for the reception as well if they'd like to.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then we're in the
Yes.
bride getting ready space.
Yes, so we actually have two suites for the ladies. We have a bridal mansion, which is what we're in. It has multiple different rooms from a dining area to eat their lunch and brunch, a little coffee bar area if they want to have mimosas, a beautiful like salon space and like lounge.
I
And
will
then,
say, I'm just gonna jump in
yes,
really quick.
please.
Your salon space is nice.
Thank you.
Like it's like an actual like little spot.
Thank you.
I feel like we're in a room like this
Yeah,
oftentimes to do everything.
yeah,
And you
yep,
have like we brought a bride into here. All of the dresses are hanging up
yep,
behind me, and it's a completely clean space.
yep.
There's nothing in here, no bags, no water bottles or whatever else.
Hmm.
And when she was in there getting ready, getting her hair and makeup done, it's the hair and makeup stuff.
Exactly.
And then we have this nice clean space in here.
Yeah, no, that's
I had to jump
exactly
in
right.
because
No,
it's
that's
just like the
perfect.
space makes sense, and we're not just in some like random podunk room that
Yeah,
has white walls and
yeah.
might be kind of nice.
Well, exactly. And again, we are in the dressing room. So clean, you get your photos of the dresses. We have a place for them to hang. So photographers are always looking for a spot to hang dresses. So we have that built in so you don't have to worry about that. And then in addition to the bridal mansion, we have a whole nother smaller suite, which is just kind of like a little decompression location for the bride right before ceremony, and then a spot for her to get bustled, touch up her makeup, and have, if she wants a dress change, she can do that over there. And that's right next to the reception hall. And of course, we do have a groom suite as well, very much more industrial.
Yeah, for
Still has a
sure.
restroom, TV to keep the guys entertained. And yeah, so those are
Yeah,
our
it just
spaces.
it does. I love seeing a venue that's like thought through all of the different things. I know you've had a lot of weddings, so it's like come
Yeah.
up probably in all these different scenarios, but it's like a thoughtful process of like here's a clean space to do the actual getting
Hmm.
ready photos as
Hmm.
opposed to like bridesmaids, could we move everything
Yeah.
out of the way and then move this couch and then push that chair over and now we kind of have a clear
Yeah.
corner. It's like no, it's just use
You
this
have
room
that
with this
room.
nice big mirror that's right behind this
And a lot
camera
of natural
and a
light.
lot of natural light. Yeah, I love it. When you're like setting up for a wedding day, is there something that you do or like mindset that you have that like gets you in the zone that like helps you like just have yourself ready for like I mean it's a
Yeah.
long
It's
day.
a long day, and there's a lot of details. So every night before I have a wedding, I review their vendors, their like decor that's going to be provided, and just kind of have like a big picture of what the day is supposed to look like. That way, when I like jump in for that day, I am already expecting, oh, there's an alcohol service dropping off the alcohol. Like I just know what's supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen, and if it's not, we're calling those vendors. But again, it just allows, and that's why I found you pretty much right away because
Yeah.
I knew what time you were roughly supposed to arrive.
Yeah.
And again, it's also in our portal, but I do just kind of take the second to just review all the details the day before for each wedding, and then coffee the morning of because that will always get me
Coffee.
going. I need
Yes.
coffee. I live on coffee.
Is there anything that you find helpful, like speaking to other vendors to like help stay focused throughout the day, stay in the zone, like in there for the couples, like ready for what's coming up
I
next?
really don't, honestly. I mean, I'm just naturally in the zone once I start. I mean, but no, I don't really do anything aside from just a little perk for the coffee, and that's pretty much it.
I love that. Are there like trends in the industry? I mean, you've been it for 10 years. Like
hmm
I'm sure weddings 10 years ago look somewhat nothing like they do now.
100%. Even from my wedding, well, which was 10 years
Yeah,
ago. So,
10, yeah. Sorry to date you,
yeah, I
but
know, right?
what's been like the biggest shift that you've seen
hmm
in the industry over those 10 years?
Couples going for kind of like less is more, but higher quality stuff. A lot of our couples, but also the guest experience and making
Mm,
sure that they're more comfortable. A lot of my couples choose our indoor ceremony location by choice because they know it's climate controlled. They don't have to worry about weather, if it drizzles, if the sun is beating down on the guests. Like none of that has to be a concern. So I think the guest experience is kind of one of the uh, ways things are definitely shifting for the future.
is there something that you guys are doing or are planning to do in the future with the venue to like elevate the guest experience? Sorry, I threw.
Good
we
question.
didn't we didn't go over this question.
Yeah,
That's a
I
new
was
one.
like,
That's not on the list.
yeah, I was like,
Where was that
I honestly don't know.
one?
I mean, we've already kind of gotten there with regards to, I feel like we have kind of maximized the guest experience already. We have the indoor ceremony space. Every space is climate controlled, which again, things that weren't always our backup ceremony space wasn't climate controlled at the very, very beginning. We've added climate control. And we are always directing guests from one location to the next. So they're never guessing what they should be doing. So in general, we already kind of have it set up for the best experience that our guests can have.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense with how long you guys have been doing it, and throwing that question there, you're like, I don't even know,
Yeah.
because it's already there. You
Like
don't
that's
know
what we
because
try.
it's
That's what
already there. Yeah, and that makes total sense. Um, is there like a favorite moment or like one of the more memorable moments that you've had over the course of your time as an owner?
So, well, one of my just fun favorites is Kane. Kane Brown attended one of the weddings here, which is one of my favorite artists. So I loved that. That was fun. And then for just a memorable experience, I had a bride that always said that she had bad weather on her wedding day, and it was a gorgeous fall day, like not a cloud in the sky. We're getting her lined up for an outdoor ceremony. And as soon as we get her out of the building, the sky goes dark, the wind picks up, and it was probably like a 65-degree day. And all of a sudden, as she's walking down our staircase, her veil blows off and it starts snowing. And
Oh,
I have never in my life experienced a weather change like that. So they were very brief with their ceremony and then all ran inside.
I can imagine. 65 to snowing,
It
just
was crazy.
it seems like it shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, when couples are finding their venue, obviously they're coming to the table with some ideas,
Mhm.
right? They're not like
Usually.
completely clueless. Um, but what are some things that they should be asking that they're not when they're reaching out to
hmm
venues and kind of inquiring about the different
Yeah.
services and things like
Yeah.
that?
Backup generator. Do they have a plan B? And how what time does that need to be called? Some people it's like 48 hours, and it's like, well, you don't know the weather in 48 hours.
You're
Um,
talking about like ceremony
Ceremony.
swap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for the
Yeah,
clarification.
no, you're
So,
good.
yeah, for ceremony, for a backup plan in terms of like what time that needs to be called if their ceremony is set to be outside. Is the food cooked fresh on site? Because a lot of places where there's offsite catering, a good majority, probably 80%, cook offsite, transport maybe 45 minutes to an hour. The food is
Gotcha.
just sitting there, it's nothing fresh. And then additional fees. A lot of catering have like a 20 to 25% gratuity that's slapped on top that you weren't aware of, or the coordination is an additional $2,000. That's also part of our package, is meant to be more inclusive and less add-on. So we don't have any like hidden costs like that. We have our
Gotcha.
venue and our catering package, and that is it. Pretty much the great majority of what they'll need is included. Bar, if they want, of course, extra food or more
Yeah.
time, those are additional charges. But in general, there's no like linen charge or cake cutting fee or corkage fee or coordination fee or setup fee or anything like
So you
that.
kind of have it pretty simple. If they like it here, they can have their wedding here, they get the catering built in, and you're not having like these extra like hidden things. Is there like a base package and then they can like add time, or like how does
So our both the venue and the catering package are designed that you don't need to add anything, but you
gotcha.
can. So I mean, like even for the venue, all the time is included. A ceremony is already part of the package. It's not like it's an addition. If they want a little more time, yes, they can add it. But the bridal mansion's included for 7 hours. The groom's lounge is included. So the whole property is theirs. The rehearsals included, and then for the catering, cake is included. Desserts are included. Bartenders are included. Really, the only thing not included in terms of like food and beverage is the alcohol, and they can either go through an alcohol service or they can bring their own. But it's designed not to have tiers of packages, but just to be like what you need included. So you're not wondering like, which one should I pick? Is
Yeah,
it everything that I want?
that we have switched our packages a couple times, and I will say we've made them so simple.
Hmm.
Like if you like us, we'll be there all day, and we'll make the full film. And I feel like the industry, I hope, will kind of go more towards like the simplicity side of things, because
Yeah.
I feel like it benefits the couple,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
there's so many things that they need to decide on, and it's like we don't need to add more stuff.
Hmm.
And I love that they get like all the spaces.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, pay more for this or pay
Yeah.
more for that.
Or
It's
you want the
just,
reception hall, or you want the cocktail hour. It's
yeah,
like it's just all
it's all there.
included, so you
No, I
don't have to
love
worry
that.
about it.
When couples are planning, obviously some couples are planning for a year and a
Yeah.
half, maybe some couples are 6 months,
Yeah.
or all across the board there. But what would you say your best advice for couples when they're planning in that like thick of it? They're trying to make all these decisions,
Hmm.
pick vendors.
Yeah.
What's the advice that you have for them?
A good core group of vendors, and I mean that wholeheartedly, is going to be your best way to success. Having a team that is relatively familiar with the space is always very helpful, but a team that works well together. They're all then having the same goal of just making the day the best that it can possibly be. And I mean, I've had couples that have zero stress because they're like, nope, he's been here. He knows what he's doing. I don't have to worry about it. But when you have all these vendors that just haven't been to the space, or a florist who wants to come and mount things on our barn doors, but even though I given the measurements, doesn't know the size or didn't bring a ladder when they were supposed to, it causes hiccups in the day. And it's
Low
like,
key, she's sending you the measurements.
yeah, right. Oh, I send everything. I have everything. I have so many resources that I provide to my couples just to take the guesswork out of it, so they don't have to worry about it. But anyway, so good core group of vendors is key. And then also RSVPs, getting them in earlier. So a lot of places, it's like they need a deadline of 2 to 3 weeks out from your wedding. It takes time for everybody to respond. Your deadline does not mean everybody has responded. It means now
Yeah.
this is your point to reach out
Yeah,
to
I was
those
gonna
to
say
those
you're
guests.
calling and seeing.
Exactly. So a lot of vendors like rentals and florists, not all, but a lot, will have a deadline of around 1 month when things can be changed. Well, if we don't know what your guest count is, and we don't know what your final layout is because you don't know your guest count, you can't finalize your florals, your table numbers, your rentals, your linens, like nothing can be finalized. So the sooner you can get your RSVPs in, typically, ideally, I like 8 weeks, but 6 to 8 weeks is ideal. That gives you a week or two to gather those final RSVPs specifically before I will meet with my couples. And then we will finalize the exact layout. We'll figure out the linens, the table numbers, and I kind of go through all of their vendors and like, you need one more centerpiece. You need
Yeah.
2 less table numbers. And, just go through all of those details with them and make sure that everything is in a nice, pretty bow.
Yeah. Because that makes for the the actual day running
Oh,
much
yeah.
smoother, I'm
Oh, yeah.
assuming.
Well, it's funny. So I give each of my couples a pretty extensive questionnaire, just asking them all types of questions about their wedding. What's their guest book? What type of centerpieces do they have? Among so many other questions. Then I ask for all vendor quotes and contracts, and I review and I make sure that what they expect is in the contract. So, for instance, if the bride is saying that she has twinkle lights over in the reception hall and a floral installation, but she doesn't have the beam for the floral installation in the contract, we're going to kind of make sure that that is then all situated before
Yeah.
the wedding day. So when the florist comes the wedding day, she's not surprised by no beam or whatever it is that she needs to install things. So I just kind of am that final eye. So really on the wedding day, very rarely do we have any issues with unexpected things because most of it has been handled in advance.
Yeah, so you're actually going through the couple's contracts with all their
I
other
am.
vendors?
In fact, even video and photography. And sometimes my couple's like, why? Why are you doing that? I'm like, because a lot of, not necessarily video, although every now and then, but a lot of photographers will request to have a hot meal, of course, which we always provide vendors with the same meal that everybody else will be eating.
Which we appreciate.
Thank you. And we actually feed the vendors first.
Also appreciated.
But it'll say I've had it where it says needs to sit near the bride and groom in the reception hall for the meal, whatever.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Right, most vendors like a
I'm
little
like,
breath of
I'll go
fresh air.
downstairs
Yes.
and drink my Coke and
Yeah, and and I get why a lot of vendors, photography specifically, have been traumatized by some venues that shove them in a corner, don't feed them right away, give them a cold sandwich, and they've worked their the whole day.
Yeah.
So I get why they do that, but I've had also photographers show up way back in the beginning, and they're like, "Well, where's my seat at the reception?" And we're like, "We have a vendor table for you in the stables."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, that's not what's in my contract. I am going to stand here and eat." And I'm like, "Okay,
no.
okay, noted." Well, now I'm going to look at every contract and ensure that any specific policies that any vendor would have, we are upholding. That way there's not going to be an issue of, just not upholding their contracts.
I mean, you're really going to bat for your couples. Is it putting you in the sort of, in a sense, in the driver's seat to be like, okay, everything's going to run smoothly, because if it doesn't,
it's me.
It is you.
That kind of looked through
even if
everything.
you didn't do anything to not make it run smoothly, if it doesn't go smoothly, people are going to look to you and be like, Miranda, what's wrong with your venue? You're like, well, that dude didn't listen to my thing that I told him.
Trust me. I'm like, that was not part of the script. That was not how it was supposed to go. No.
So you have interaction with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different vendors.
Oh, yeah.
Some, over the course of time, maybe multiple interactions.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking to the couples, like, what are the red flags? And it could be a category of vendor, it could just be vendors in general, but what are the red flags that they should be looking out for?
Honestly, the primary one is communication. If couples are already having issues getting in communication with somebody, anyone, vendor, venue, whatever it might be, they are less likely to respond to you, even more so when you've booked. So having issues before you've even booked is a huge, huge red flag.
Yeah, which is crazy, because as a business owner, you want to respond to inquiries.
Yeah, agreed.
Are there other red flags that you've noticed over the years?
It just depends, because every vendor is just a little bit different. I mean, in terms of DJs, you have to be very careful with them. Their setup, what they need and what they require. I mean, I've had DJs that say they're professional and show up with equipment that was probably bought at Walmart. And I've even had it one time where their equipment, because it was on the cheaper side, ran on the same frequency as the twinkle lights I have in our indoor ceremony space. So while the sound was going in and out, the lights were twinkling in and out. And I never thought or knew that was a thing until that time. And now I am very clear to my couples to make sure they have a professional that has high quality equipment, so that we don't have that issue. I've only ever had it happen once, but I don't want it to ever happen again.
Yeah, because it looks like your lights are the problem.
Yes, exactly.
It's not. Yeah, are there other vendor categories? Like, that was super helpful with the DJ thing. Are there other categories that you have like top of mind that you're like, definitely watch out for this, maybe with a photographer or a videographer or something like that?
I don't necessarily have red flags for photographers specifically, but usually I ask the couple, like, a lot of couples love golden hour shots, photos in general, or a particular style. And what I always say is look at their portfolio and make sure that that is in their portfolio. Because a lot of the time, if you don't see golden hour in that photographer's portfolio, they might not be able to capture that light the way you would want them to capture that light. So again, not necessarily a red flag, but just like a tip that I give
Something
to
to
my
watch out for.
couples of like, at least look for what you're going for and make sure that they have it within their repertoire.
Yeah. I appreciate the experience that you're bringing, because for me, as a videographer, I have like a narrow scope. Like if I was talking to another videographer, like I did my one episode, I'm like, we're going back and forth because like it's my job too.
Yes, you're
But like I don't have the experience that you have. Like you're working with so many different vendors
mhm.
throughout the wedding season, and then like season after season after season. I'm sure you're seeing all of it.
I
The
am.
good, the bad, the best, the
Yeah.
worst.
My dilemma is I don't know at what point the red flags appear
Oh
for
yeah.
those. Like I get the end result and I don't know what you could have seen
At what
beforehand
point? Yeah.
to be able to be like, watch out.
When did this go south for
Yeah,
you?
like there are definitely several vendors that I would never recommend, and not that I would point them out, but I don't know, if it would even have been apparent
Yeah.
beforehand. I mean, and I don't mean to say it this way, but sometimes price point is a key factor. If they're like, I'm a DJ, I'm a professional, I do it for $100. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's like
be
let me ask
careful.
a couple more
Like,
questions.
be
Yeah.
careful. That is not a professional DJ, more than likely, like pretty highly likely.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um, Speaking on budget for just a second,
Hmm.
I find that most couples, they have an idea of what they want their day to be, and they have an amount of money that they can spend to
Hmm.
make that all
Yeah.
happen. What are you pointing them to
Hmm.
help them make sense? Maybe they've already like selected, okay, we want to have it here. We've booked with
Hmm.
Miranda at the barn at Silverstone. Now we're just putting together our team of vendors.
Yeah.
How do you get all of that
Yeah.
together to like make it make sense with the money they
Hmm.
can spend, and keeping everything up, the
Yeah.
expectations too?
So, couples, now, not everybody will tell me their budget. If they do, I can absolutely guide them with like who might fit within their budget to be able to execute flawlessly. Or, hey, maybe it's a DIY. Maybe you want to provide your own candles versus going through a rental company. So, I can happily guide. Not everybody tells me though
Yeah.
what they're going for. Some people are like, I want this, I want that. And you can just tell that they have no limitations. And at that point, I can still just guide them for what they're looking for. But when couples are like, when you can kind of tell the budget is definitely of concern, I can give them guidance. And my biggest thing, and it doesn't matter whether it's a wedding that can afford anything or one that is on a very limited budget, I am a big advocate for less is more. If you just put quality items out and don't just put tons of cheap things everywhere, it's going to look so much more refined and so much more elegant and more just in general. It's going to show up prettier in photos. I have a lot of couples and they're like, should we do this? Should we do that? Should we have programs? Should we have name cards? Should we have menu cards? It's like you don't need favors, you don't need programs. You can do it. You can do anything you want. But there are so many things that people won't notice or you've spent money on and then they're going to leave it behind.
Yep.
I had a groom who spent so much time engraving everybody's name into beautiful wood coasters that he cut and polished and did
Which
everything
takes
himself.
forever.
Ever had everybody's name and 30% left them behind. And I'm
Oh.
like, what are we going to do now? Like, I mean, of course I'll pack them up for him, but like,
Yeah.
that's so heartbreaking that he spends so much time on that. And again, that's still nice. And not to say that they can't do that, but there are so many things that are not necessary for a wedding to go off without a hitch. And
Yeah.
you don't need to spend all that money on it.
I love it. When you said it at first, I'm thinking like florals.
Mhm.
Not that we need to spend
Yeah.
less money on florals, but I'm like, if you're only going to spend so much on florals, it, to me, like from what you're saying, it almost makes sense to go with like the quality,
Yeah.
the nicer flower,
Yeah.
the nicer arrangement, as
Hmm.
opposed to like, let's put a
Yes.
hundred of these things all
Yes.
over the
A whole bunch of
place.
fake flowers
Yeah.
everywhere versus or whatever it might be. But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And also we can repurpose things and there's definitely a key to repurposing. So you always want cocktail hour to be completely set up because when ceremony is concluded, guests are going in there. You don't want us to be putting things into place as
Yeah.
guests are walking in. But once guests go to cocktail hour, we can repurpose the great majority of what is at ceremony to reception, and no one knows the difference. You have beautiful barrel flower arrangements that we can put at the dessert table, the guest book table, or the sweetheart table. We can repurpose bridesmaids bouquets. They could be centerpieces or just decor around the room, the mantelpiece, or really the welcome sign. We can just repurpose those to the reception and guest. Even the seating chart, we do take that from cocktail hour, but we'll have it at cocktail hour first. I'm all about efficiency, so I love to have a seating chart at cocktail hour. Guests have an hour to look, and then we move it up to reception right before guests come up. Majority already know their seats, so they flood right in and go to their tables. Grandma might have forgotten.
Yeah.
She can still see it. But again, it just allows for a nice smooth transition from one space to the next without lines, which is the biggest thing.
I love that. It's like you see the bottleneck at
Mm-hmm.
the sign,
Mm-hmm.
probably at enough
I can't
weddings,
stand
and
it.
you're like, let's find
Yeah.
a way to fix
Yeah.
it. So you're putting it down where everyone can see it, and they're like, oh, table 14. Like, got it, table
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Most people are probably going to remember.
Yeah. A few might.
And then you're
Yeah.
just kind of like getting everyone moving. And
Yeah.
again, same thing, like customer, guest, client experience
Mm-hmm.
is like elevated just on these like little
Yeah.
small things
Yeah.
that go a long way.
Some couples are like, but I really want it at reception. I'm like, I know you really do. And if you really want it that way, I will do it that way. But please listen to me when I say
Yeah.
it's not good. Don't do it. And same thing like for the cocktail hour. Everybody's gonna flood to the bar. So we will actually have trays of drinks that start cocktail hour off. So the great majority of guests will get drinks in their hands immediately. So we don't have a lineup at the bar. And then we'll also have personal attendants going to the bride and groom, getting them drinks and appetizers. So again, they're not waiting in lines either.
Man, drinks ready to go at the
Oh
bar.
yeah.
That is like ideal.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just grabbing stuff.
So all of our servers that'll have butler drinks will first go out with a tray of like red wine, white wine, beer, her specialty, his specialty. And then that way when guests enter, they can literally just grab them off the trays. And then those that want a specialty drink can actually just go right to the bar and, order whatever
Yeah,
they're interested in
that's
having.
ingenious to the flow. What I'm
Mm-hmm.
hearing is just so much about the flow of
Mm-hmm.
everything, and you're trying to alleviate any potential hiccup.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a long line to get a drink at the bar, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
man,
Don't like
this
that.
line is like
Let's not
terrible.
do that.
Yeah, and even just a line to get into the reception, it
Yeah.
can take so long to get everyone from cocktail hour up
Mm-hmm.
and seated and ready for the
Yeah.
stuff, and it's like, well, now we're 10 minutes past when we wanted everyone to come in,
Yeah.
but you got all these like systems that just like make it all work.
Yeah.
I love that. Is there something that couples can do specifically with you that kind of pulls out like more value from yourself as an owner?
Honestly, just asking, just using me as a resource. I am an open book. I have seen so many things. It's rare when I haven't seen something, and I'm happy to give my opinion. You don't have to use it. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. But
Not gonna hurt your feelings.
No, I'm just here to make it as efficient as possible. That is like everything I've ever tried, not just for the planning process, but for the wedding day itself.
Yeah, I love that. So just ask.
Mm-hmm.
If Miranda knows
Yep.
it, if she can help,
Yep. And if
she
not,
will.
I'll direct you where you should go.
Yeah.
Who can help you?
You have the person that can help. I love that. Is there something that you wish you knew? Maybe speaking more to like vendors, business owner kind of mindset. Is there something that you wish you knew when you started out that you're like, oh, that would have helped us so much if we would have
Mhm.
known X, Y, and Z about our business
Mhm.
journey, or what's that look like?
I have already kind of delved into this a little bit, but really having an like on-site catering, it has made a night and day difference. Somebody that knows the facility in and out, the same consistent crew, so we don't have any issues of like they don't know where this is, or they don't know how to talk to guests the proper way, or whatever it might be. It is absolutely totally different having somebody that knows your facility so well, and they can pick up the pace if something else is happening, or they're very much aware of like if photo needs a little bit more time, we don't want to put the fillets in right away because we don't want to have an issue with like whatever it might be. So we do work hand in hand with all the vendors, but having a consistent crew makes everything run smoother.
Yeah. So it sounds like if you're a venue owner, hop on the dedicated catering team
Mhm.
train because
Yeah.
it's changed the game for
Night
you.
and day.
I love it. If you could swap roles with another vendor category,
Yeah.
what are you, a venue owner to
Mhm.
what?
Rentals.
Rentals?
Decor rentals. I love design. I love art and all of that. And I actually set up 90% of all the decor for every wedding that we have here because I'm very
That's awesome.
particular about it. And I already know what they want because I've had that meeting with them.
Yeah.
So I love doing setup and being able to be like, and these gorgeous lanterns and, whatever, a beautiful sofa set and whatever else. I would love to do that because it's the pretty aspect of
Yeah.
the wedding in general,
So if
making
we
it come to
see
life.
another storage barn
Yeah, right.
showing up back here somewhere,
Well, who knows?
we
You might.
know
You might.
what happened. We'll just speak it into existence.
I know, right?
No, I love that. Miranda, I appreciate you being on and hosting us for the day.
Absolutely.
We've been filming here all day. Where can people find out more about you and about your venue here at the Barn at Silverstone?
So both our website and our Instagram/Facebook, but the Barn at Silverstone.
I love that. Do you have any exciting projects or exciting things that you guys are working on or that are coming up?
A little behind the scenes, but nothing too crazy. We have done a lot of the physical plant renovations, restorations, and upgrades. So we have the facility where we want it. So now we a few years ago purchased more acreage. So we now have 37 acres instead of 15. And we are slowly but surely kind of doing more landscaping, so it just has even more prettier acreage to do some photos on. But we already have quite a bit.
I know, it's
to do
already so
photos on.
nice.
And the nice thing is that the property that we expanded to was a landscaper's property before we purchased
Perfect.
it. So it had a ton of ornate trees and
Yeah.
blossoming trees. So it was a nice addition.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you for being on. That's all for this episode. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Please make sure to check in on what's happening here at the Barn at Silverstone, and also subscribe and let us know how you guys are liking the preferred list. And we'll catch you next time.